Hi, welcome to Story Time. Today we're going to be reading Macgregor and the Sea Turtles, a story about a little boy and his attempt to save sea turtle hatchlings, written by Nancy Macgregor and illustrated by Dr. Robin Sykes. Enjoy the story. Macgregor was up early. Fog was hovering over the water as he and his trusty red dump truck, Dumpy, began their trek down the beach into the water. Out of the water, into the water, out of the water. The sun kept trying to come out, but the fog was being very persistent. I wonder where my white and gray feathered seagull friend Oliver is today, pondered Mac. Ollie, where are you? On down the beach they went, faster and faster. The sturdy tan legs churned along between the two wakes that Dumpy's tires made in the water. Tracks in the sand, wakes in the water. They were going so fast that Dumpy started sending up a double-treaded spray. Mac loved it when Dumpy got him all wet. He laughed and laughed as the spray ran down his face, dripped off his little pug nose, and got his sandy blonde hair all soaked and salty. Suddenly, Mac heard the whir of a lure being launched out into the waves. He looked up and saw a fisherman working his rod back and forth as he reeled in his line, hoping for a stray pompano or perhaps a bluefish to strike. Sniffing the air, Mac looked out over the ocean, watching the line to see that hitch and tug as the lure set. He knew immediately that to be safe, he must leave the water's edge and go up onto dry sand. He could watch the surf caster from there. Macgregor and Dumpy trudged up towards the bluff. It was hard going in the dry sand. Dumpy was all drippy, so his wheels kept making sand clumps. Kerplunk, kerplunk. Finally, they made it. Mac was lying on his tummy facing the water when he felt the sand start to tremble, and then it sort of bubbled up right underneath his hand. Oh my! Out of the sand popped a wee head with the sweetest, clearest eyes. Scrabble, scrabble! Out popped two flippers. Scrabble, scrabble, scrabble. Out popped two shorter flippers. A tail, a sea turtle hatchling, Macgregor giggled. As he scrambled up to sit, the sand all around him began to shiver and quiver, and tiny heads started popping up, one right after another. Mac looked up. Oh no, this was definitely not a good time for Oliver to arrive. But down he swooped, so distracted by all the activity, he almost landed in Dumpy. Then, before Macgregor could flap his arms or snap his fingers, Oliver ate a turtle. He ate another one. Mac gasped, backed up, and began whirling in circles, flapping his arms like mini windmills. Oliver stopped, cocked his head to the right, stood on one foot, and squawked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ollie began to strut back and forth, back and forth. Quick as a wink, Mac backed Dumpy around. He scooped in handfuls of sand and then as many squirming turtles as his little hands could manage. The turtles surely were cute, and while he knew it was best, if possible, not to touch them, he also knew Ollie was really looking forward to another treat. Hatchlings on their own instinctively head straight for the water, their flippers flipping lickety-split. They need to try to get into the water before the sun makes the sand too hot. They do not hesitate and are luckily unaware of the dangers along the way. Hungry crabs scuttling out of their sand tunnels and seabirds hovering in great anticipation, such as a seagull or a frigate bird. The fishermen had not caught any fish and had moved farther down the beach toward the point, away from the turtles. Maybe he'd have better luck down there, sighed Mac with relief. Macgregor and Dumpy slowly headed down to the water's edge, giving the hatchlings time to adjust. Luckily, the waves were gentle today, so the babies would be able to swim straight out. Dump went Dumpy, and down slid the turtles into the cool, clear ocean. What a beautiful sight, and a happy feeling it was for Mac to watch them swimming out to sea, their wee heads breaking the water's surface for tiny breaths of air. Mac was sure they looked back at him with thanks, and then they were gone. Oliver had a rather suspicious look about him as Mac and Dumpy made their way back up to the dunes, so Macgregor sat and dug his toes into the sand. He decided to wait for a little minute to be sure. When no more baby turtles appeared, he smiled to himself and waved to Ollie. He and Dumpy went on down the beach to enjoy the rest of the now sunny day. The end. Thanks for joining us for story time. We hope you enjoyed the activity. For more programs and information about the Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse and Museum, follow our website, www.jupiterlighthouse.org.